Well, that is really, really ugly. Anyway, we'll see how that turns out. What I'm hoping is with the new kicker, we're just going to use this old one for now, just to show you. So basically that's going to sit in there, it'll go all the way into the corner. So into that corner there, you can see it just meets up and ends up all nice and neat. I don't have a piece of this, obviously this is the old one, so I'm just going to use this as an idea. So basically the new one will go in there and that'll marry up the same with that side. So obviously once that's all done, hopefully that all ties in a lot better and it all sits a lot neater up in the top. Well, that's the plan anyway. I don't know if it's going to work, but hopefully it will. Here we go, time for bench tops. So they're coming today to put all the bench tops through. Apparently they've all been cut and all ready to go. I will try and time lapse that so you can see how that sort of goes all together. I've had the oven and hot plate in, so at least we know they all work. They'll fit where they should be. And I've just got to, now that I know they're all in the right spot, I know where all these locations are going to exactly go. So I'm going to fill in the hole in the wall, same as I did with those taps under the sink, and relocate them to the most appropriate spot for when we actually go and do the fit off once the bench tops and all that are in. And the final bend. Hopefully there. Holy shit. I didn't film all that because usually it involves me throwing it across the backyard. However, this time, I might have done it. All in one bend. Which is actually the gas feed, is all I'm jibber-jabbering on about. Hang on, test that, see how it goes. Well, what was I going on about? So, all one piece, hopefully. This piece that sort of offsets back towards the back of the cupboard. So, the plan is, that's the gas feed. The plan is it goes through that hole, both of them. Son of a bitch! I'm sure it's going to go through. So the gas feed supplies and returns into the cupboard where I'll put an isolation valve or gas cock. Gas cock. Makes my son laugh every time I say that. All the plumbers will just be going, what? Anyway, so isolation valve will go there. So supply comes in, isolation there if you ever need to turn it off, and then supplies the hot plate going back through. All in one piece. Wow, shout out to Laurie. So I've just cut that piece in half, and I thought, well, if you don't know how to flare a piece of copper, then I'll show you. Basically that's the nut off there. It's got a little flared fitting, obviously. I've cut that to suit the little valve that we were talking about underneath. That's the nut for it. Never forget to put the nut on. Always put that on and make sure you put it the right way, or you'll be yelling and screaming and probably need some sort of a disclaimer thing set up that may trigger some people if you did that. Anyway, so if you've got a flaring tool, which I've got this one from a previous working life, you probably don't have one like this, but that's all right. You may. You can get them anywhere now, probably even Temu, I don't know. That just clamps around. It's 1/2 inch pipe, so that just clamps around the 1/2 inch setting. You just want that through a bit, so it just pops through a little bit, a couple of mil. bring that up. This just clamps off. So that just clamps the former to the pipe so it doesn't push through. And inside there's a little oscillating flaring piece. So I don't know whether you're going to be able to see that, but you might be able to. And with this one, it's a bit fancy. This one actually has got a clutch in it, so it doesn't squash the copper into non-existence. It maintains the right thickness of the pipe, so then your actual flare seal, when you go do up your flare nut on the fitting, it won't tear the copper out. It'll just compress the copper that's there. So this bit here will slowly open up as it's compressing down, and it'll make a noise. A little click. Yeah. No, it's not going to sing a song. It just makes a little click. So, and out of habit, then it clicks, and then I did another turn past the click. That's just involuntary because I've done so many bloody flares in my life. That's just an involuntary thing. So yeah, you just back that all the way off. You undo the flare, undo the forming block. This all just slides up and out the way once you got it undone enough. Opens up and out, and it makes a nice little flare. So when I cut that pipe, I cut off the burr that's in there. So as you're cutting the pipe, it protrudes a bit. So you cut all that off before you do it. I don't know why I didn't show you that, but anyway, probably don't need to. So that's your flare. That goes on, and that just seats up against that, and they're both at exactly the same angle. And then as this flare, as this nut goes onto over the fitting onto the thread and compresses down, it all forms together inside. And you put a little bit of compound on there just to make sure it slips on the copper and it doesn't drag the copper and tear it. That is flaring for the day. So you need all these bits all glued together. Special compound that takes God knows how long to dry and set. Everything's basically pinned in its position. All sorts of little suction things that hold it down, get it all flat and true. And once that's finished, then they'll use this machine here that'll hone it down, get it dead flat. But there we go so far. The process begins. Jesus. And just like that, the boys are done. So stone bench tops in. They've just cut around. Well, this is going to be replaced this floor anyway. But there you go. This is how it looks. This is where we're at so far. Bloody great. So here's that corner I was talking about. They've been able to get in there and join that. Only one join straight through the middle. So that shouldn't crack. Is what I'm told. There we go. Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. I don't know how you bloody choose a colour off a little card when you're trying to work it out in a shop, but bugger me, I'm happy with how it's turned out. Don't know what it looks like on the camera with the sun behind me, but yeah, that's the little coffee bit. Because that wall runs out, that's funny. Nothing you can do. Stone doesn't move. Cool.